Hey guys, it's Nina. I am back today with a review on the Inspired by bag that I unboxed the other day. It's the Inspired by Celine handbag that I received, and I did receive a couple of requests from several different people asking kind of a review or update after I've actually carried the bag. Because as we all know, it was very inexpensive. It was $58. And, you know, sometimes when you buy lesser expensive products, it's not far-fetched to potentially receive products that might look good on the exterior, but then have flaws in design or even flaws in the quality of the bag. So, you know, handles could start popping off. I mean, anything is possible. I know I haven't carried it very long, but I have carried it the entire weekends. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. As a matter of fact, I just switched out of this bag today because I went to Belk's last night, or actually I should say I went to Belk's with my daughter over the weekend, and we saw, she pointed out a bag that she liked, and I went last night and I picked it up for her. And when I was picking it up for her, the bag was such a good deal that I decided to get myself one. So I just switched out of this Inspired by Celine bag today. And just a little sneak peek of the bag that I purchased for my daughter and myself is this Calvin Klein crossbody nylon bag. So this is the bag that I just switched into today, and I receive a ridiculous deal on these bags. I think the regular price was $118. Calvin Klein, it is nylon, the whole body of the bag other than a little bit of leather trim here and there. I got the bag for, I think it was like $58. So pretty much the same price that I paid for this Inspired by Celine bag. So anyways, that's another video, but go to Belk's if you like that bag, or if that's something that, you know, so I know many of you guys have daughters that might be interested in this bag. It's a great crossbody, very lightweight, pretty roomy though for a crossbody, and great for teenagers to older daughters to people my age. So anyways, getting back to the review of my Celine bag. So here is a look at the bag that we are talking about, and this is the crossbody slash shoulder strap, and there's the regular bag. First off, let me give you the measurements of the bag so that you guys know what size we're looking at, because I did go by and see the Michael Kors Colette bag that many of you suggested to me was also a Celine inspired style of bag. And I think this bag actually is relatively the same size as that one, because at first when I saw it in Trish's video, I thought that that Colette bag was smaller, but in person when I looked at it, and I happened to be carrying this bag is only a tinge, you know, larger, I believe, with the wings kind of spread out. But the actual bag itself, if you weren't looking at that, the size looked, obviously I didn't measure the Colette, but the size, you know, next to it looked pretty similar. So this is not one of the inspired bags, Celine inspired bags that I've seen on YouTube that actually are the really large ones, because I have seen some that people have purchased from Daily Look that are really big, and I believe that would be considered the large size of the Celine bag. Not the huge one with the bats, not the Phantom bag, but the one that's the mini. Well, I don't know if it's called a mini, I'm not really sure, but anyways, I'll give you the measurements. So side to side, it is 10 3/4 of an inch from the top to bottom. So height would be looks like a full 11 inches, And then now, when I said the side to side, I am measuring the actual structured portion of the bag at the bottom, not with the wings out. So if I were to actually measure the top with the wings out, we're talking 15.5 inches all the way across. So it is one of those bags that trapezes out. So it is larger at the top than it is at the bottom. And then the actual depth of the bag is 5.25 inch. And the handle drop, which is one of the things I'll be discussing, is, let's see. And we're talking about the top handle drop, not the shoulder strap. That is a mere 4.5 inches. Yeah, doesn't work so well. Even, you know, I don't know, even if you just carried it on the crook of the arm, it's not uncomfortable. I mean, I can carry it on the crook of my arm like this, but it is what I would consider to be more on the smaller side. Even for a top handle, I would prefer my handle drop on that to be just slightly bigger. I mean, even if we had a full 5 inches, I think I would have liked it better. 6 inches would have been even better, but yeah, so that's one of the things that I'll be discussing. And then the shoulder strap actually adjusts. So let's see, from the point that I have it, let me just give you the measurement from this, oops. I think if I measured it earlier, and I believe it goes all the way to, I have it at 19 inches, but you can adjust it all the way to 23 inches for the crossbody strap. So, okay, so those are the measurements of the bag. Now let's get into what I would consider the quality of this bag based upon what I did over the weekend and the things that I carried in this bag. Friday was just a regular day, so I just had my typical wallet, makeup bag. I had a technology bag that has my chargers and things like that. I had a full-size lotion, so not like a little miniature Bath and Body lotion, but like a 6-ounce size lotion tube in there. And I had my sunglasses in there when I wasn't wearing them. And I'm trying to remember if I had anything else. I had a little wristlet, a very thin wristlet that I used to store receipts and things of that nature. And all of those things carried in there perfectly fine with room to spare. So this tote, actually, I feel like it fits a good amount of stuff. So this is what the inside of the bag looks like. It's a big gaping hole. And so I carried it the whole weekend. Actually, I did both in the crook of the arm and also crossbody, because on Saturday I went to a event downtown here in Atlanta that is called the Dogwood Festival, and it's basically like a fair type situation where you have vendors, art vendors, food vendors. It's a huge park, and it's called Piedmont Park in Atlanta, and they have entertainment and all sorts of events going on. So I did a ton of walking for many hours, and purchased things that I also stuck into the bag. And when I did that, the whole time I was at Piedmont Park, I carried it crossbody. The straps are super sturdy. So it was, if you recall, it's the dog leash type clip on the strap. The strap is, let's see, measurement on the actual shoulder strap itself is 3/4 inch thick, so it's not quite 1 inch. If it had one of those thicker shoulder strap you know, extender type things up here, this would have been a lot more comfortable. It wasn't terrible though, because just the nature of this strap, the leather is very, very pliable. There's nothing scratchy. It wasn't like rubbing up against my skin and irritating me or anything like that. Like I said, very sturdy with all the stuff that I normally carry, plus the addition of additional things that I had in my bag. One additional thing that I forgot to mention that I didn't like about the shoulder strap. If you see here where the adjustment is on the buckle, most of the time when you receive a bag, you typically have two, I forget what these things are called, but the little loops where you can pull your strap through so that it doesn't hang out like this, because this is not attractive. Especially if you even shorten this even more, because there's still two additional holes that you could shorten the strap, and there's actually two additional holes that you can lengthen this strap. So when you've got it at the last hole, then it's not so bad, because the last hole is right here, so this doesn't flop around too much. But it's strange to me that they didn't have a second loop for this to you know, to hold this down so that it doesn't look so floppy everywhere. That's something that I wish, you know, was a little different. But that's the only thing I could think of from a strap perspective. I feel like as far as quality goes, from a durability perspective, I think this is a pretty durable, high quality bag. I also mentioned that this bag had feet, and there you see them. All of the hardware on the bag is gunmetal, as well as the feet, and they're kind of like a square type, you know, feet, and square and flat, and not kind of the rounded bubble type feet. And I, you know, there were situations where I had to place this down next to me, and right now I do not see any kind of like scratching or wear and tear that happened over the weekend. Again, it's just one weekend, so I'm not claiming that this is like, you know, the be-all, end-all of durable handbags. But for what I did this weekend, I feel like it stood the test. So these handles, with everything that I had in them, you know, you kind of look at this and you wonder, with it being the price that it was, like, will this kind of pop out at some point, or, you know, are these really that durable? And the answer for me, based upon the amount of stuff, because after a while the bag did start to get heavy, because I had to, you know, throw some stuff that I purchased while I was out at the event into the bag, in addition with all the things that I was carrying. And it got a little heavy, and I wondered if anything was going to snap or break, or you know, the handles pull out. And I have to tell you, none of that happened. And you know, this was still super comfortable. This is kind of very thick handle. It's nicely padded and squishy, so when I did have it in the crook of my arm, it wasn't, you know, it wasn't hurting me in any sense, meaning there was nothing like sharp or poking or, you know, any jagged edges that were rubbing on my arm. So I did appreciate that. What else can I tell you? I do feel like, for the amount of money that I spent, $58, which, as you saw, I paid, you know, yeah, this was a discounted price, but $58 for a nylon bag. But for this bag, being leather and just the style of it and the cuteness factor of this bag, I feel like I did pretty well. I do not regret the purchase at all. As a matter of fact, if I found this in, I believe I saw a different person with the same inspired by bag that was referring to it as smooth leather. So unlike this, which has the pebbling, she said that hers was made out of smooth cowhide leather. If I could find that version, I would buy it again, in another color, of course, probably something more neutral. But to make a long story short, I feel like this was a good purchase for the price. Many people stopped me and asked me where I got the bag. And then I have to go into the whole explanation of it being, you know, inspired by, you know, blah, blah, blah. Some people knew what a Celine was, others did not. They just liked the color, I think, was what attracted many of the people that stopped me the most, and then of course the design of the bag. So I feel like it's a good handbag for the price that I paid. And I've even seen cheaper versions of this on eBay. Now the cheaper versions actually do state that it is polyurethane. So it is, there are versions of the bag that is not leather. And I'm just gonna mention that because I don't want you guys to go out there on eBay and find one for less and then think that it's leather and it's not. So look at the description carefully, because I noticed that some of the cheaper versions did clearly state that it was PU leather. And that's another, you know, something that you need to look out for, because if it says PU before the word leather, that means it's not leather. So that was, you know, that was out there as an option. And I think those were ranging from like $27.99 to $40. So just to make you aware of that, that there are versions out there that are not made out of leather. As a matter of fact, the ones I think from Daily Look are not leather. Those are, they clearly state that they're polyurethane. So anyways, I think that's the end of my review. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If there's anything that I missed or questions that you have further about the bag or anything, please do leave a comment below, rate and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I do appreciate all the support, and I look forward to talking with you guys soon. Bye.